Hi, so this is additional video on the product design question. In this, I'll share 5 tips that will be important when you are answering the question. So the first and the most important one is solve like a real life problem. So one of the things that you should definitely do is ask about goals. Depending on the goals, the product problem or the approach that you take can vary a lot. For example, is it to capture market share? Is it to increase revenue? Or is it at this point mostly to avoid any hate or negative PR? For example, if Google is launching a new product in the AI space, it's very much concerned about AI safety, PR, although it's also want to be bold at this point. So the theme of bold and responsible, it reflects across all the products in the AI space for Google. The second aspect in this constraint, solving like a real problem, is the timeline. If you are given a timeline of 10 years, anything could be seem like a trivial. If you are given a timeline of 6 months, you have to be really practical. And related to that, how much SWE or resources that you have access to. Second, at the core of the PM design interview design question is that you have to find specific solution for a specific problem for a specific customer segment. Everything else is a bells and whistles, so you have to get this right. Often I see candidates that propose a very creative solution, but that does not solve the problem that they identified. So make sure that you don't make this mistake. One of the things that you should also not be doing when going through this approach is also not mixing the problem and solution space. So once you have figured out the problem, maybe through customer journey or other, then identified the top problem, then only go to the solution. Don't try to find a solution, a problem, and then a solution, then a problem. This will mix and match and make the interviewer really confused. So this is the second point. The third tip that I'll give you is to always follow the approach of go broad, then go narrow. What I mean here is that at every step of the product design problem, whether to find customer segment or brainstorm problems or solution, first find couple of each for each and then pick out one or the top one. For example, for the customer segment, I would say, let's say for visually challenged, completely visually challenged who can't see, colorblind, or someone who is situationally blind, let's say running in the dark or in a place where there is no electricity. So that way, and then I'll pick the one that is most relevant to the goal that I have on my hand. The fourth tip that I'll give is to go deep into the customer problem. For many of the companies, it's one of the main rubric for product design question measurement is that how do you take the customer first approach. So make sure that you spend enough time understanding the customer problem, and there are multiple ways to do this. For example, getting into the customer's shoes and understanding problem from their standpoint. For example, if you are solving a problem for someone who is visually challenged, try to close your eyes and imagine how the world would be. If you are designing a product for kids, try to imagine yourself from the height that is below your waist, that how the world looks from that height. If you are designing a problem for someone who lives in a developing nation, then try imagining their life from the place where there is less connectivity, there is less infrastructure. So try to get into their shoes, brainstorm loud to make it clear that you are trying to understand customer problem. Tip number 5 that I'll give you is offer variety in your solution. We already discussed multiple brainstorming techniques. Go through that lesson, make sure that you are using those techniques to come up with interesting solution. You are not required to come up with all groundbreaking ideas, but make sure that you have some. That will give the interviewer confidence that you can come up with ideas that are creative, that could inspire the team. So these are the top 5 tips that I have for you for solving product design questions.